How is India facilitating the hijacking of Indian Muslim history by Pakistan? Do you know? Pakistan's Navy commissioned several ships bearing the names of historical Indian Muslim rule figures: PNS Babar, PNS Jahangir, PNS Shah Jahan, PNS Alamgir Aurangzeb, and notably PNS Tipu Sultan. On one hand, India is disowning its Muslim history. On the other hand, Pakistan is quickly owning the Muslim history of India. India is hurting its leg with its axe. India, a nation with a richly diverse and layered history, is currently grappling with the contentious issue of how its Muslim-ruling past is represented. For centuries, India was ruled by Muslim dynasties, including the Delhi Sultanate and the Mughals, which left an indelible impact on its culture, architecture, language, and governance. However, recent socio-political developments have highlighted a deliberate effort to minimize, disown, or erase the contributions of these rulers from the national narrative. Timeline of events: a shift in historical representation. 1. 1990s, changes in school curriculum. During the late 20th century, attempts to revise school textbooks began under the guise of correcting historical biases. Some argued that Indian history had overly glorified Muslim rulers at the expense of native Hindu kings, leading to debates about what constituted an Indian identity. 2. 2014 to present, accelerated erasure under political agendas. With the rise of the Bharatiya Janata Party, BJP, in 2014, the rewriting of history took a sharper turn. Textbooks were revised to reduce emphasis on Mughal contributions, while amplifying the legacy of Hindu rulers like the Marathas and the Rajputs. For instance, the National Council of Educational Research and Training, NCERT, dropped or condensed chapters on Mughals in its recent revisions, sparking controversy. 3. Renaming cities and landmarks. Efforts to rename cities and landmarks with Mughal or Muslim names gained momentum. Notable examples include changing Allahabad to Prayagraj and Faizabad to Ayodhya. Proposals to rename Delhi's Mughal-era landmarks, such as Humayun's tomb, have also been floated. 4. Undermining of cultural contributions. Iconic contributions of Muslim rulers, such as the Taj Mahal, have been increasingly marginalized. Political leaders have excluded the monument from tourism booklets and downplayed its significance, despite its status as one of India's most recognized cult symbols globally. 5. Dismantling of structures and celebrations. Some Muslim-era structures have faced neglect or calls for removal. Similarly, festivals and practices with Muslim heritage have been reinterpreted or dismissed as foreign, further alienating their contributions from the cultural mainstream. Why erasing this history is dangerous. India's Muslim ruling history is a critical chapter in its evolution. The cultural syncretism of the Mughal era, for instance, blended Islamic, Persian, and Indian traditions, resulting in world-renowned achievements in art, architecture, and governance. Erasing this history undermines India's claim as a pluralistic and inclusive democracy. 1. Cultural loss. Erasure risks destroying the symbols and practices that define India's cultural richness. Monuments like the Taj Mahal and Red Fort are not just relics of Muslim rule, but emblems of India's identity on the global stage. 2. Historical oversimplification. Rewriting history to favor one community over another distorts the truth, simplifying complex narratives into binaries of us versus them. This approach can lead to further division and resentment within society. 3. Global reputation. India's cultural diversity has been its strength in diplomacy and soft power. Dismissing Muslim contributions tarnishes this image, portraying the nation as exclusionary rather than inclusive. 4. Lessons from the past. Understanding the governance strategies and mistakes of past rulers provides lessons for the present. It also reminds us that India's historical resilience lies in its ability to adapt and embrace diverse influences. Why India should embrace its Muslim ruling history. Acknowledging Muslim contributions does not undermine the achievements of other communities, but enriches the tapestry of Indian history. By embracing this shared heritage, India can foster unity and pride in its multicultural past. History should not serve as a battleground for contemporary political agendas, but as a bridge for mutual understanding and respect. In conclusion, the erasure of India's Muslim ruling history is a disservice to its own legacy. A balanced and inclusive representation of the past is crucial for building a future rooted in truth and harmony. As India continues to grow as a global power, Preserving its pluralistic identity will be essential for sustaining its democratic ethos and cultural vibrancy. The practice of naming Pakistani Navy ships after historical figures carries deep symbolic meaning, particularly in the case of Tipu Sultan. As a South Indian ruler renowned for his resistance against British colonialism, Tipu Sultan's legacy extends beyond geographical boundaries, embodying defiance against foreign domination. The decision to name a warship after him, despite his roots in Karnataka, highlights Pakistan's attempt to frame historical narratives through a lens of anti-colonial struggle. This symbolic use of names is not new in the region's military history. For instance, during the Indo-Pak War of 1965, an operation allegedly named Operation Somnath was launched, evoking Mahmud of Ghazni's historical raids on the Somnath Temple. Such historical references intertwine modern military strategies with the narratives of medieval conquests, linking figures like Tipu Sultan to broader themes of resistance and power. The Pakistan Navy has also commissioned ships bearing the names of prominent Mughal rulers, such as PNS Babar, PNS Jahangir, PNS Shah Jahan, and PNS Alamgir Aurangzeb. While these names reflect Pakistan's direct historical connection to the Mughal Empire, the inclusion of PNS Tipu Sultan stands out, given Tipu's South Indian heritage. This choice underscores the broader symbolic weight of Tipu's legacy, aligning him with Pakistan's narrative of resilience and defiance against foreign dominance. An example of this is PNS Tipu Sultan, DDG-185, a Tariq-class destroyer acquired in 1994. Originally built as HMS Avenger for the Royal Navy, this British Type 21 frigate was designed for general-purpose operations. After its acquisition, the ship underwent significant upgrades between 1998 and 2008, including structural modernization and the enhancement of its weapon systems. Reclassified as a guided missile destroyer, PNS Tipu Sultan became a vital component of Pakistan's naval defense. Today, PNS Tipu Sultan symbolizes a blend of modern military capability and historical legacy. Its name, rooted in Tipu Sultan's defiance of British rule, reflects Pakistan's effort to memorialize figures who resonate with their national identity. By commemorating Tipu Sultan, Pakistan intertwines his legacy with its own narratives of strength and resistance, underscoring the enduring relevance of historical figures in shaping contemporary geopolitics.